Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Shannon Beador unsure if she'd return to HOC after difficult season 18. Shannon Beador is coming off her most personal season of The Real Housewives of Orange County to date, and while all eyes are on the reunion, the 60-year-old is mulling her future with the show. In a new interview with People, the longtime cast member has admitted that season 18 was very difficult for her because of the amount of things going on in her life. Filming picked up in the aftermath of her DUI arrest and split with her longtime boyfriend, John Jansen, and the hits just kept on coming for her as filming proceeded. Alexis Bellino returned to the cast, and thanks to her new relationship with Jansen, Shannon was put in countless difficult spots. Her friends even started turning on her, with Tamra Judge calling her a drunk at every opportunity and Heather Dubrow implying that Shannon had been using her for sympathy. In addition, she was embroiled in legal drama with Jansen, who came after Shannon for money he said he had loaned her for a facelift. Given the severity of the drama, it's a miracle that Shannon even attended the reunion because we can't even begin to imagine what she went through reliving the season. Shannon is ready for the season 18 reunion. Shannon admitted she was in a better place before this HOC reunion than the last one. "I really was a hot mess at the end of last season," Shannon explained to People, admitting she was totally focused on clearing Jansen's name. Shannon added that she's happy that people will see a different side to her at the upcoming reunion. "I'm going whatever I can in my power to better my life to become a better person," she stated. Shannon revealed that she's unsure about returning to the show because she doesn't know which other cast members will return. "It depends on who I would be on the season with," she confessed. "And I'm not saying that in a threatening way. I experienced some time with people that were very unhealthy for me to be around. That HOC star wants to prioritize the important things in her life and separate herself from toxic situations." Shannon could work with many returning cast members. Shannon is in good standing with the rest of the cast, including Katie Janela, Gina Kirschenheiter, Jennifer Pedranti, and Emily Simpson, so there's a way forward for her on the show. It will all come down to what producers have planned for season 19, because there have been rumblings that we could be in for a slight shakeup. Alexis and Katie are thought to be at the most risk of going, but the three-part reunion will likely be the deciding factor. Bravo went public with the trailer for the event this week, showcasing Alexis arguing with Shannon and Emily, Tamra giving Shannon a half-hearted apology, and Katie and Heather's feud. It should be an interesting event because of the level of drama this season. Shannon Beador had always been a force on The Real Housewives of Orange County. From her early days on the show as a woman fiercely committed to organic living and holistic wellness, to her recent roller coaster seasons, she'd weathered ups and downs, scandals and triumphs, all in front of the cameras. But season 18, she admitted, had taken a toll unlike any other. The drama was different this time, sharper, closer to home. For the first time in years, she wasn't sure if she had the resilience to continue. In a reflective moment following the reunion taping, Shannon found herself sitting alone, cradling a glass of Chardonnay, staring out at the vast Pacific Ocean from her Newport Beach home. She usually felt empowered after a reunion, no matter how intense it got, confronting her castmates, airing grievances, getting closure. These were rituals that helped her step away with a sense of finality, but now she felt hollow. The arguments and accusations seemed to linger, shadowing her peace. "This season felt different," Shannon whispered to herself, watching the sun dip below the horizon, casting a warm orange glow over the waves. She thought back to some of the more painful moments: arguments with her longtime friend Tamra, strained conversations with Emily, and confrontations with Heather that left her feeling exposed and misunderstood. There had always been friction among the housewives. That was the nature of the show. But in the past, Shannon had been able to brush it off. This time the blows felt personal, like they were aimed not just at her actions but at the core of who she was. As she reflected on season 18, Shannon wondered aloud, "Why am I still doing this?" Over the years, the show had become more than just a job. It was a defining part of her identity. She had friends, supporters, and followers who'd stood by her through every high and low. But this year, Shannon felt the weight of that loyalty. She worried she might let down the people who rooted for her if she walked away. The intensity of this past season had opened up a side of Shannon she hadn't expected, a vulnerable side. And with that vulnerability came a growing unease. At times it felt like everyone was watching, waiting for her to break. She remembered one particularly brutal scene where emotions boiled over during a cast trip, leading to an outburst that left her exhausted. Am I just giving them what they want? She thought. Or is this who I'm becoming? The endless cycle of accusations, apologies, and drama had worn on her spirit. It's a lot, even for me, she admitted in an interview. She wasn't the first housewife to question whether the sacrifice was worth it. Vicki Gunvalson, once her closest friend and confidant on the show, had left after years of saying the same thing. Maybe Vicki was right. Maybe there was life beyond Housewives. But the fear lingered. Could she ever go back to a quieter, less scrutinized life? As she wrestled with this decision, Shannon found herself seeking clarity in unlikely places. She returned to some of the wellness practices she once championed, hoping they'd guide her to the answer she sought. Meditations, long walks on the beach, energy cleansing sessions, she tried it all, hoping to reconnect with her own voice amid the cacophony of opinions from the cast, producers, and fans. Her daughters, who had grown up watching their mother navigate the public eye, noticed the toll this season had taken. They'd been supportive in the past, even when things got rough, but now they gently encouraged her to prioritize her well-being. "Mom, maybe it's time to think about what makes you happy," her eldest had said one night. It was simple advice, but it hit home. For so long, Shannon had prioritized her commitment to the show, her role as a housewife, over her happiness. She began to wonder if she'd lost herself in the process. And then there was John, her boyfriend. He'd been her rock through some of the hardest moments, and though he was used to her life on TV, this season had pushed even his patience. The relentless scrutiny and judgment had invaded their relationship, with whispers about their future echoing through her social media feeds and spilling into her personal life. They discussed her leaving more than once, and he'd always made it clear that he'd support her decision, whatever it might be. "You deserve peace, Shannon," he'd say. "Don't let anyone take that from you." Shannon knew her fellow housewives were facing their own crossroads as well. Tamra, her once closest friend and now complicated frenemy, was battling her own demons. Heather, who'd returned with the intention of strengthening her friendships, had inadvertently fueled the flames of tension. Shannon could sense that everyone was questioning what it meant to be part of this group, what it cost them, and what they were willing to give up. For days, Shannon remained in limbo, unsure of her path forward. She was a woman torn between two worlds, the familiar chaos of housewives and the quieter life she craved. She thought of the fans, the people who sent her supportive messages, who defended her when the storylines painted her in a harsh light. They were the reason she kept going, even when things got tough. She built a connection with them, one that transcended the screen. But she also knew that continuing down this path meant more than just pleasing her fans. It meant sacrificing her sense of peace, her relationships, her well-being. It meant staying in a world that seemed to demand more of her than she had left to give. Finally, one evening, as she sat down to write a note of gratitude, a practice her therapist had suggested to ground her thoughts, she felt a sense of clarity washing over her. Maybe it was time to let go, not because she couldn't handle the drama or because she was weak, but because she'd given so much of herself to the show. She'd bared her soul, her flaws, her triumphs. She'd shared her life with an audience who embraced her imperfections. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away, she thought. And with that, she decided she would take some time to reflect, to figure out who she was outside of Housewives, and to prioritize the parts of her life that brought her joy. There was no grand declaration, no tearful goodbye yet, just a quiet resolution that perhaps season 18 would be her last. Shannon knew she'd be remembered, not just for the drama, but for her authenticity, her resilience, and her willingness to grow in front of millions of viewers. As she closed her journal and turned off the lights, Shannon felt a profound sense of peace. For the first time in a long while, she allowed herself to imagine a future where she could just be Shannon Beador, without the weight of being a real housewife. And in that moment it felt like the perfect next chapter.